Okay, good afternoon once again. I hope we're all good, and I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. So I'm sure you can see my screen. Please confirm you can see my screen. Could give me a thumbs up or drop a message in the chat. Okay, thank you very much. So today we're going to be looking at the prototype stage, type stage 1. But before that, we're going to, do the usual. First things first, drop one emoji to describe your weekend. How did your weekend go? Did you guys even miss me at all? I doubt it, sharp. And I thank God she's gone. So, okay, Joshua answered, do you guys played football? I hope you had time for your classes too. Benny more. I missed you too. Speak for yourself, though. I'm sure others did not miss me. Rachel, I missed you too. Oh, lots of love here. I missed you too, Ken Joshua. Thank you guys so much. Well, I'm very sure that mentor Mayowa handled the class very. I mean, I saw the comments. I'm sure you guys had fun and you learned a lot too. Ogoma, I'm glad to be back too. Okay, so the next thing is to type out one thing you learned from the last class. So, I mean, I heard that the class was exciting. I watched the videos too. So, what did you learn from the last class? Ben, you more like to start with you. You said it was fun and exciting. So, go ahead, tell us. So, do I have any volunteers? I'm sure you guys learned something in the last class. Anybody before we move on to the next thing? So it was just fun and exciting, and yet you cannot say anything. Please raise your hand before you unmute your mic if you have something to say. Okay, Tiben, go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon. Do you eat before? Sorry. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, last class we had, we spoke about, what was it? The shapes that attribute the usage of, card flow, user flow. Sorry. Don't turn anything off.
Please,
Sorry.
focus on the class. If you have any distraction, you can mute before doing that. Okay, anyone else before we go on to something else? I think he's pretty occupied. Ken Joshua, go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Last class was a more informative class. We talked about information architecture and user flow. It was like a bridge from the ideation stage to the more technical side of design. So we learned a more technical approach. It was like the next step after the empathy and all those stages, and so more. So he taught us, Mr. Maiwa taught us about how we can use flows to map out like the structure of how we want an application to be. And it was a class where it was kind of like an interactive class where people were just following what he said. He made us like understand the fundamental things we needed to creating an application, and those are important keys. So if that's what.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm glad you learned something. Okay, Francis, go ahead, please.
Okay. In the last class, I learned about it was about information architecture and user flow, and it gave us the basic importance of both of them and why both of them are needed in our designing and in our design process. Because he said it will help us to give our user more insight on how our design or products is going to be like, not after designing them that maybe they will now hate the design. It will give them the blueprint, example like a blueprint to our design and the way they can navigate through our design. And through that, we can get the feedbacks, and if there is any correction they need to that is needed to be done on it, it should be easy to go back and retrace it. So I really enjoyed the class and I was happy to be there.
Well, I'm glad you did. Thank you very much, Francis. I bet it was an interesting one. Okay, and I really hope that when it comes to, where you have to apply whatever you learned, I hope you're able to do that too. Okay, so the next thing is I want volunteers. I want to know how CodeCamp has been for you so far. Okay, so just unmute your mic and share your experience. If you're not free to talk, you can actually use the comment section. So I want to hear how CodeCamp has been for you guys so far. Have you met friends? Have you learned a lot? Have you been practicing? Just feel free to tell us how CodeCamp is going for you so far. Okay, we have one person here. Ayo, please go ahead.
Okay, well, CodeCamp has more like been a push for me actually. It's more like been a push, and I've learned a lot. Basically, I've learned a lot. I've unlearned, I've relearned actually from CodeCamp. It has actually been a very nice experience so far for me personally, actually. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I love the part where you said you learned and you unlearned, right? Because there's some things that you maybe thought were right and some things that you used to do before. Well, now you know better. That's beautiful. Thank you very much. And Rachel, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everybody. So
Afternoon.
in CodeCamp, I didn't know what to expect when I registered, right? But I'm getting to see a lot more, and a lot of doors has really opened up knowledge-wise. Apart from, navigating new tools with Figma, the UX aspect of this course has really taught me a lot, how to be more open to interacting with people and how to actually minimize my all the thoughts I have and make them very concise, with the tags, and with each task we have to actually write stuff. So that aspect of putting ideas and gathering ideas from users and actually putting them down and making more research has really been interesting. So I look forward to, for more tags and more things ahead.
Okay, that's nice. You're looking forward to more tasks. We're here for that. We're going to give you more tasks. All right, thank you very much, Rachel. So I think that's that. Ken Joshua says CodeCamp shows us how to actually carry out the whole aspect of academics. Yes. Thank you very much. I'm really glad that you guys are learning. And while learning, you're meeting new people and connecting more, right? And like Rachel said, I look forward, okay, to see that you guys all come out in flying colors, right? Okay, thank you very much. So for the business of today, what you're going to be learning is how to plan and create a user journey map. We're going to talk about low fidelity prototype, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to sketch and also create a low-fi wireframe using Figma. So sit tight. Today's class is going to be very interesting. And I hope you're excited. So first things first, we're going to go into the planning phase. And here you're going to learn the meaning of user journey map and task flow. This is more like a reiteration because I know that Mayowa already taught this in the last class. And also I'll be showing you how to create a user journey map. Now, first question, what is a user journey map? This is a visualization of how a customer or user interacts with our products. It helps designers to identify and strategize for key moments in a product experience or service that they're designing. Okay, so what a user journey map does is help as a starting point. It helps designers to determine what to prototype for and how to go about it. Okay, so where do users make a stop? Where do they take certain actions on a product? That's what user journey map helps us to figure out. Okay, and the tools that can be used to do this includes pen and paper. You can also use Miro. It's a good thing that we introduced Miro to you guys. So this is what you can use to create a user journey map. Now, how do you go about this? The first thing you want to do is identify the task. I'm very sure that Mayowa taught you guys what a task flow is. So now I want to know if you guys actually got that. So I'm asking, what is a task flow? Okay, can I get answers maybe in the chat session or somebody who wants to unmute and speak up? What is a task flow? Anybody? Okay, Francis, go ahead.
A task flow is a step-by-step process in completing a task.
Okay, that makes sense. So it is more specific. That's the word I was looking for. It's more specific, right? So this task flows actually focus on how users travel through your platform, your products. Could be an application or website while performing a specific task. So that it could be about ordering a meal. If you're looking at a food ordering application, it could be about making a transfer. Okay, if you're looking at a banking application, so it focuses on a specific task. So they generally show just one path. It doesn't have a lot of branches like the normal user flow has, right? This one has just one path. Okay, and it focuses on just one path. So that's what a task flow is. So the first thing you want to do is identify the task. What task is the user performing at this point? Or which task are we looking at? And then the next thing you want to do is create a task flow. When that is done, you identify the actions, interface, and channels. And we're going to be going through all of this one after the other. Identify the task. Okay, so we're going to pick a task from the high impact, low effort quadrant. I think Mayowa thought that in the idea stage. I'm positive that he did that. So we have high impact, low effort in our quadrants. So from the quadrants we created for the high impact, low effort, and categorizing all of these ideas under each of these categories, right? So we're going to pick a task from high impact and low effort. Then the next thing is identify the task. And the task here for today's class is option to split meal bill. So we're looking at a food ordering application. So the task here is what? Option to split meal bill. Okay, so the next thing, like I said, is to create a task flow. A task flow is simply the path taken by a user. I mean, I already said this on a website or application to complete a task. So to create one, we need to identify the following. The first thing you want to do is identify the entry point. Where are the users starting from? Is it from the onboarding screens, the home page? Where is the starting point of the user? That's the entry point. The next thing is the action steps, the steps that the users take and in what sequence to take them. Okay. The next thing is we have prompts. This guide the user on the next step to take. You know, where you have the modals, the pop-ups that tells you, are you sure you want to, make this, you want to take this action rather. And then you have the CTA buttons, the call to action buttons that says, okay, or next, tells you what to do next, okay? So those are what we call prompts. Then we have the end goal, what the user wants to accomplish with your product. So I'm using this application or this website. What's the end goal? What am I here? What do I want to do with this application? What do I want to do with this product? That's the end goal. So example of task flow. Task flows can take many different forms depending on the type of website or app you're designing for. So for this class, the task flow search for a meal with a picture. Okay, so that's the task flow we're going to be working with for today. To search for a meal with a picture, and it might look something like the following. I'm just going to show you that in the next slide. Please make sure you do not unmute your mics, even by mistake. So pay attention. So this is a task flow to search for a meal with a picture, right? At least I this out. The first thing you want to do is, we talked about identifying the entry points. So now we have the entry points. The user starts on the home page, right? That's the entry point. This is where the whole journey begins from, okay? And then from the home page, the user clicks the camera button. Remember, the task flow is to search for a meal with a picture. So from the home page, the user clicks the camera button. It could be at the top right of the screen. Okay. Then from the open camera, the user takes a photo, uploads a picture, and searches for similar meal. Okay. So you could take a picture of maybe afang soup, for instance, or white soup or fried rice, and then you upload the picture and search for similar meal on the platform. Then from the results page, the user taps on the meal to select it. From the meal page, the user clicks on checkout/order. To continue to check out, the user is prompted to pick their mode of payment. And from the checkout page, user enters their payment details and makes payments. Okay, so that's the end goal. To be able to pay for the food. I mean, I've searched for the meal, right? And I found something similar. I've selected on it. I can also, check out and make payments. That's the end goal. Okay, because I cannot just come on the platform to just, check for similar meals and then not pay for it. So then we have this in a diagram. Okay, so if you can follow this diagram, the first thing you're seeing here is opens the app. That's like the action of the user. The user opens the app, either sign up or sign in. And then you see your homepage. In the homepage now you have what? The camera icon, right? From the homepage, you upload an image and then you see a call to action button. Remember we talked about prompts. You have the next, the button that says next. That's like a prompt too. And the next thing you're seeing there is what? Search for meal with picture, right? After you've uploaded your image, search for meal with picture. You have the CTA button again that prompts you on what to do next. Click on the next the next button. The next thing is what? Select your meal. When you've selected, you place an order, you order the meal, and then successful. But for you to order, of course, you're going to make payments. For it to be successful, right? So you're going to make payments and then success. So this is like the task flow. Okay, for searching for a meal with a picture. Now, what did we say next? After you've created your task flow, what do you do next? Identify the action, interface, channel, and emotion. So the first thing here is action. What's the action? Action is the desired task the user wants to accomplish. Now, what do we call the interface? Interface is the element that the user interacts with at a given point. Okay, now think of, it could be a button, it could be an icon. Okay, so that's like the interface. You can see a back button, like remember when we talked about the camera icon in the previous slide? That's an interface too. So channel now is the platform on which the action takes place. What platform is this action taking place? Is it a mobile application? Is it a browser? That's the channel, right? And there we have the emotion. How is the participant feeling at a particular stage? Okay, is the participant happy, confused, frustrated? That's where the emotion comes in. So now I'm going to show you what a user journey looks like, or an example of a user journey map. Now this is what it looks like. Right? So take a good look at this diagram. Remember the task we said is to snap a picture of a meal and order if available. So you can see this table. We have the timeline, which shows you each step or each stage, because we talked about that. Then the actions, all of those things that we just listed out. Actions, interface, channel, and then the experience. The experience here is the emotion, so don't get confused. They're the same thing. So under the timeline, we have step 1. What does the user do? That's the action. User opens the app. Okay, and which interface is this person using? Mobile app icon, right? That's the interface. That's what the person is seeing. You know, when you open, you turn on your phone, right? And then you see the WhatsApp app icon. That if you want to open your WhatsApp application, you usually see a app icon for whatever application you're using. Okay, so you now click on the app icon. That's the interface. You're interacting with that. So the next thing is the channel. What channel are we using here? It's actually a mobile phone. And the experience is, I cannot actually say that I'm excited or I'm just in between. I cannot say I'm excited or I'm sad. Okay, so that's why you can see this emoji. Then we'll move on to step 2. After the user opens the app, he or she proceeds to log in or sign up, right? And then the interface we have here is the form field. You know, when you're filling in your name, email address, password, and all of that. That's step 2. The channel here is still mobile application. And then the experience, you know, is still basic, because I cannot actually say that I am either sad or happy, like I said. Then we move on to step 3. The user clicks on the camera icon, right? Remember we said we want to snap a picture of a meal and order if available. And the interface here is what? A camera icon. So you see a camera icon on the home page, and then you click on it. You interact with that element. The channel here still remains the same, the mobile application. And now, okay, I'm beginning to see some, you know, I'm beginning to notice some live on the application. I'm actually doing stuff and it's going through. I'm very close to, you know, meeting, you know, very close to the end goal, rather. Yes, so you can see that the emoji now has changed. Okay, because something is actually happening on the application. And then the next step here is step 4. The action here is to upload an image or to snap a picture. What's the element I'm going to be seeing here to interface with? A plus icon or a snap icon. Okay, same channel, mobile application. And I think I'm getting a bit happy. I will not exactly say I'm happy. I'm just at least you know, when you know that you're almost reaching your goal, your end goal, right? So that's for step 4. And then this is the continuation for step 5. For step 5, you search for a mail. What's the interface? The search button. Okay, because you know what the functions of a search buttons or search bars. It's actually search for an item. The channel is to a mobile application. The emotion remains the same, but we're moving forward. After we search for the mail, we select the mail. The interface here is a next button. Channel remains mobile application. My emotions remains the same. And the last step is step 7. I order the mail. Now, what interface? We have the order button. Okay, that's the element that we're going to be coming in contact with in order to place an order for a meal. The channel remains the mobile application. You can see the emoji now. It has changed. I've reached my goal. Okay, I've done what I wanted to do. You can see that I am happy, or the user is happy. Okay. All right, so that's how you create a user journey map. And I hope that was understood, because you're going to be creating yours sooner or later. Okay. Maybe it will come up in the next promotional task, which is like next week. So I hope you really understood that. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is low fidelity prototype. So what is low fidelity prototype? I'm sure you guys have heard of low fidelity, mid fidelity, high fidelity. So we're going to be learning what this actually means. So low fidelity prototypes are rough representations of concepts. Okay, they're not like the main thing. Okay, so they don't actually need to look nice or look verified. So they are rough representations of concepts that help us to validate those concepts early on in a design process. Okay, and what this does is it helps designers to test feasibility and functionality. I like to think that it's inexpensive, because you know you can still start over. You can make a lot of changes, right? So when we're looking at low fidelity prototype, these are the characteristics. We have limited content. Okay, like I said, it's not the main thing. So it has limited content. The wireframes can be linked to one another for interaction. You can actually do that. So if you have a button here, if I click on this button, where is it taking me to? What's the next page? What's the next stage? Okay, that's taking the user to. And it's also inexpensive to make. Can be done on pen and paper. You can sketch anywhere. You can even do it on Figma. It's inexpensive to make. Testing is limited though, due to the little amount of visual details. Like I said, we're not really looking at the quality. Okay, it doesn't have to look fine, right? That's why it's called low fidelity. Now, sketching. So when starting out, you do not need to focus on perfection, like I said, especially for your sketching. Just be clear on what you're showing in your sketches. So if somebody takes up your sketches, they should be able to, you know, identify some screens. They should be able to know what is going on. Okay, they shouldn't be totally lost. You know how you see somebody scribble stuff and then you're like, what's going on here? You know how doctors sign something on a paper for you and like take this to your pharmacy and you try to read it and you don't understand. It wasn't for you to understand. So, but if you're working on sketches, right, as a UI/UX designer, if your clients, for instance, you should be able to show it to your clients. or if you're working in a team, your team members are able to, dictate or try to identify some specific elements or whatever you're trying to show, right? So sketching requires you to use basic shapes to represent your ideas and helps you think creatively, as you don't have to worry about the quality. So it doesn't have to look fine. You could say I'm very bad at sketching. No wahala, just put it down for us. But make sure you know what you're doing. So the tools that can be used here, we have pencils, and you can use different shades or colors for emphasis or to add effects. And you can add maybe if there's anything like a pink or blue pencil, you can use that for the bottom, like we said, for effects. Another tool here is paper. And the last thing is Balsamic. This is a web app that can be used for wireframing. UI UX designers use it for wireframing. We're not going to be showing you guys how this works, but we want you to go ahead and explore Balsamic by yourself. Try it out. I think I've used it a couple of times. So that's like your assignment. Just go home and try that out. So we have this. These are like the content. Okay, when you're working on a low-fi or mid-fi wireframe, right? These are the contents that you're going to find. For the lo-fi, it's sometimes it's majorly just strokes used to used to illustrate what's it called, text. And then we have the shapes used to illustrate images, buttons, and all of that. So you can see here, you can see the shape for image with the cross in the center. You can see the content for profile picture, horizontal scroll bar, radio buttons, media controls, the copy, and all of that. So these are all contents, right? Now, this is what a sketch looks like. It doesn't look fine. Like I said, it doesn't have to look fine. But you can see that copies have been added, okay? Arrows that tells you, okay, that this is what this thing actually is here for, right? You can see that. So when you're doing your sketch, feel free to add annotations where you didn't fit. Now, annotations are notes to explain, okay, whatever you're trying to show, or comments added to a text or diagram. That's what annotation means. So you can see that annotations were added to this sketch. So if you're working in a team, like I said, and your team member picks this up, they can actually tell where the flow is going. They know that, okay, this is what's going on this particular stage or page, and this is what's going on the other. Okay, so like I said, your sketch has to be clean and somebody can easily understand it. Now, this is what Balsamic looks like. Remember I said it's used in wireframing, but I added two others that you can try out. I mean, feel free to explore. We have Mock Plus, they're all websites, and wireframe.cc. So feel free to check this out and you can tell us how your experience was. So how do you improve your sketching skills? Scribble often. Capture ideas with scribbles. So you could be in class or at work. Just scribble anything, even while watching a movie. All right. So that's how you improve your sketching skills, rather, by doing it more often. So you can see this. This looks clean. And you can see the prototype. We're linking one screen to the other, showing the flow. So from the first screen, you can see the arrows and all of that. So this is a clear example of a clean sketch, right? And also we have this. So we have the first one to be the low fidelity wireframe. The second one is mid-fi. You can see the difference. We've added a little bit of color to it. Normally, the mid-fi, you can actually add text and even introduce icons, but you're not adding colors yet. And then we have the high fidelity, the hi-fi. So the hi-fi is the closest to the main, to your ideas, to the main thing, right? That's where you can see the button has colors and all of that. It looks real. Okay, so these are, like I said, low-fi, mid-fi, hi-fi, right? We have your additional reading, beginner's guide to UI sketching. So go through this link to learn how to sketch better. A beginner's guide to user journey mapping. This is where you get to learn how to create a user journey map too. So I just hope that whatever links are being dropped on the class slides after the class, I hope that we all actually go through them and we read them. It's actually for your own good. So we've come to the end of today's class, or should I say part one? Because I said I'm going to be showing you guys how to, create a sketch on Figma. But congratulations for coming this far. And we'll be having, what's it called? Our quiz session on Wednesday. Okay. I hope you guys you're going to get yourselves ready. Okay, remember how the last one played out, and we had our winner to be that. I don't know if he's on this call, but go ahead and read, prepare yourselves. Who knows who's going to be the winner this time? Okay, so with that being said, I'm just going to stop sharing my screen so that I can share my Figma. Can you guys see my screen? Please confirm. Confirm by raising your hands or giving. Okay. Thank you very much. Someone said in the comment section, okay, Chukwukalu, I should not share my screen for the quiz so he can win. That is not human. He's human, I think. So are you guys saying I should only read out the questions and not like share them on the screen for everybody to see? This is your time so that you not say I was being wicked or I am being wicked on Wednesday. Okay, we have a lot of yes. Okay, the yes have it. So I'm just going to read out the questions on Wednesday and hopefully we get a winner. All right then. So this you can see that this is, let me zoom in. This is Instagram. Right? You guys are familiar with Instagram. You can see my screen, right? Okay. So this is Instagram. These are screenshots of an Instagram page, the homepage. You can see that the homepage is actually highlighted. I mean, all of us use Instagram. We're all tech gurus and techies. So we're going to be creating we're going to start with a sketch. Okay, before we actually get a frame and do this. This is the lo-fi. Okay, so I did this for the purpose of this class, but I'm going to start from scratch so you guys see how it's being done. So the first thing I want to do is get a frame. I'm going to get a frame. a mobile application. Yes. So we're going for iPhone 13 mini. I think this makes sense. Just call this homepage sketch. So this is not going to look fine. I'm warning you. I think I should take this closer to this guy. So yeah. So for this one, instead of using the regular shapes, I'm going to use the pencil tool. So like I said, it's not going to look very fine. Okay, so I have this. Oh no, to be the logo, right? And then we have other tiny circles. At least you understand what I'm doing, so don't laugh. Sketches are not supposed to be fine. We talked about this. Okay, so this is for our logo, the Instagram logo, and then these three here represents these other three icons, right? I think it would have been better if we did this on pen and paper. Okay, but I cannot really control my mouse here. I'm going to try my absolute best. And then we have, oh, that looks fine. So like I said, we're starting with the rough sketch before we go into the one we have on the right. Okay, so we're starting with rough sketch, just like something you could have on pen and paper. The one you have on pen and paper cannot be this fine. Okay, so we're starting with the rough sketches before we go into the one we have on the right, which is the low fidelity wireframe. So I'm just going to select this because I cannot trust myself to draw this almost perfect circle the next time. I'm just going to duplicate this. Okay, and then we can have, when let's say that whoever thought about Instagram, this is what the person was doing. Maybe the person was, just hanging out with friends, and then the idea came. So he or she just picked up a paper, okay, and then started sketching out. So this is what I want this thing to look like. I want this guy to look like this. People should be able to upload their images. We should be able to see other people's posts and all of that. So like I said, remember we talked about this. We're not really looking at quality, just as long as we can put our ideas out there. So when I look at this, as the person who actually sketched this out, I can actually tell that. And also I can actually add arrows, like we talked about annotations, right? Okay, put comments so that if you're looking back at your sketch, maybe in 2 years, you know what each of these elements are here for, okay, what they represent. So I'm just showing you how to make use of your pencil tool if you want to do a rough sketch. But it's easier, like I said, if it's done on pen and paper. So that's that. We're going to take out this guy. And we're going to get a new frame. And really go into the lo-fi now. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is some people would want to put I don't know, a rectangle, for instance, here for the logo, right? And then we have the tiny bit of circles. I'm going to reduce this. maybe make it 20. Okay, 20 is fine. I'm still going to consider my alignment, even though this is a rough sketch or a rough work. So we have this, we have this. So we have logo, and we have the three icons. This one to add, you want to make a post, to see your notifications. That's the second one. Then the last one is the message, okay, to see your messages. So I'm going to group all of this and select these two to make sure that they are both aligned vertically. Okay. So also, like I said, you could just get what's it called? Strokes. Let me get dispenser. And we have that could be very hard. Let me just pick a random color. This makes sense. Increase the width so we can see what we're doing. It's this guy arrow. It's supposed to be the other way around. So yeah. So you can actually do this, just maybe type out logo here. Remember we talked about annotations. Yeah. So logo and then the other ones. And then we have this circles, right? For the stories. 100 seems too big for the dimensions, so we're going to go with 70. Yeah, I think that's fair. Control D. I hope that we were a little bit familiar with Figma. I mean, and you guys have been practicing, so you know most of the shortcuts. So we have this, and then we're going to add remember that we said for the low file. I mean, for mid file, you can actually use text, but for the low file, you can just keep it busy by using lines, okay, to represent text. Using circles and all of that. And there's no need to introduce colors to this. Just keep it black, white, gray. Keep it simple. Okay. It doesn't have to be complicated. If it's complicated, then it's not low fidelity. So we're going to get we use append tools for the line. Just have from here to here. Right. That's too thick. Let's leave it at 1. Okay. And then Control D. Control D, Control D, Control D. Okay, so the names under the stories. Okay. Then the next thing we have here is words, the profile of whoever uploads a post. So what we're going to do, get a circle. We'll just get this one. Reduce it to maybe 50 or 45. Right. Get the same stroke because I cannot keep going back and forth. So you should learn how to do this too. So for this one now, right, we're going to edit it. Okay, you can actually edit this to be longer if you want. Okay, and we have two of them here. The person's name, and then maybe the location, or what the person does, be any of that. So this is much longer. The text here is much longer. So we have this. Okay. We have that. Like I said, I like paying attention to my alignments. I've gotten so used to it on this to be 16. So I'm just going to group this and then make sure that the two of them, that we have the aligned here vertically. So we're going to do the same thing here. So we can bring both of them down a bit. Okay, and we'll just get one of these guys. Use this to 5 maybe, or 7. It's this. Please do not turn on your videos. Thank you very much. Pay attention to your screen so you do not mistakenly turn on your video. So you can see that the distance or the spacing between these elements, the 11, where my cursor is, and that's too much. So we're going to reduce it to maybe 4. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. So we can now group them. So we need to group these guys too, so that we can align them to these guys too, vertically. Okay, so when that is done, remember what we talked about when I was showing you guys the content of a low fidelity wireframe. Okay. How do we represent an image? We have a rectangle. And then what? We have the strokes that cross each other. And for that, I'm just going to get this. Start from here to here. Done. Get it again. Start from here to here. We have that for the image. Most people actually skip this process, maybe because they think it's a lot of work. But this, if I had this, right, and annotations added to it, and I had no idea, maybe I had no idea about Instagram. Let's say the idea was still very fresh. I mean, we had to work on it, and I was hired, okay, to design this application, for instance, and I was given this this sketch now, okay, this low fidelity wireframe. I looked at this, and I'd actually know what to do. Okay, especially if annotations were added to it. I know what to do in the low file. I know that, okay, so this actually is for the profile picture. I'll add photos to that, add the name, add text, add image. Do you understand? So I love sketching out stuff. So when I'm working on a project, the first thing I want to do before I go onto Figma, because you might get stuck. Okay, you just run out of creative juices. So what I like to do is get my pen and paper. I do that a lot and start to scribble. Okay, first of all, I try to draw out the page layout. Is it a website I'm designing for? I draw it out. Or is it a mobile application? I draw it out too. I design what the home page is going to look like before I come on my Figma. With that, it's very easy. So all I have to just keep my paper aside, and then I'm looking at it, and then I'm bringing it to life. It makes it very, very easy, and I recommend it anytime. Okay, so this is what we use to represent an image, right? So we're just going to move on to the next one. We have this icons here to like the post, comment, forward, or send a message. So we're just going to represent that. Remember we said we're not looking at quality. So we're going to, I don't like stress. So we're just going to get this. We talked about it. Since there are 3 of them here, we're just going to get this. For that part. And you can have another one for this part. Okay, so the next thing you saw there is where the number of people or the profiles that have liked or commented or interacted with your post. So for that, we're just going to get this guy. Okay, and because it is an image, we can decide to do the same thing. We already saw this representation. We can decide to do the same thing for these guys just to point that out. Okay, in case somebody is looking at it. I decide to have this. But now these strokes are too thick. So I'm going to reduce this to 0.5. So I'm just going to duplicate this. I think I should group them. Let's bring them together as close as the other ones were. Right. What do we have here? Yes. So, and then the text, we're going to make use of our strokes again. And we had our stroke here. Okay, so you can see what I am doing. For this one, we edit this one to be longer. And then we can edit this to be shorter. So whenever you're working with pencil, let me just point this out. Follow the red line. This ensures that you're on a straight line, because if you go this way, it is straight, but it's not actually on the same line as the first one that we had. Especially if you want to have a straight line all the way to the end. Do you understand? So this actually shows you that you're on point. But if you deviate, this is what you have. So you follow the red line. This is your guide. Done. And then we have the text that comes with the post. For that, I'm just going to drag this down here. Edit this guy. Especially, I'm going to use this to represent that this text was actually left aligned. And you know how when the text is left aligned, you know how it's actually being displayed. So we're going to have this Kate's. Sorry, I have to edit. So this is what it looks like. And this one is going to be this way. And then we have the bottom navigation, right? Hope I can track this down. So also to put it out there, feel free to extend your screens. Okay, I've seen a lot of people who want to design on a frame and then they want to put everything. So there's no space. Your element can barely breathe. So please give space. You can extend your frame. Okay, it is allowed, right? Give it space. Okay. So we're just going to add the finishing touch, which is this guy. To the market start. So we know that that's our bottom navigation. So you can see this. And then get this cycle. 50 or 45. This is better. So how many icons do we have here on Instagram? Bottom nav. We have the home, search, reels. I think this is like, what is this, like shopping? This is not the latest Instagram. I got this photo from the internet. So this is for the profile. But since we have 5 items on this bottom now, we're just going to put 5 of them here. And the last one for an image. So Ctrl D, send line. Okay. We have that. So for this one, remember what we do to images. We're gonna cross and cross. So 0.5 because it's looking too thick. Yes, that's fine. So we have this. We have our homepage. So you can see the difference between the both of them. This is the idea brought to life now. This is the very first stage when you're not really sure, you're just putting down stuff. So you can see the difference. Okay. So now we're going to be doing the same thing for the next one, which is, for search. This first one was for the homepage. This is for the search. This is what it looks like. So let me see if I can duplicate this. And select all of these guys. Perfect. So for this, we're going to call this the search page. So because we're not having any promotional tasks for this week, it doesn't mean that you're not going to do anything useful with your life. So I like for you guys, take this as a task, but it's not going to be promotional, but it is a task. In fact, I'm going to drop it by the end of today because you cannot have a free week without doing anything. So in your free time, go on Figma and then try out something. Okay, so it could be for WhatsApp, Twitter. You're going to see that when I drop the task. So it's not promotional, like I said, but you need to take it serious. Don't say, because I think this is where I'm going to catch people that really came here to learn KodeCamp. Because I feel like a lot of you guys are more concerned about the promotional tasks. You just want to move on to the next stage. So you don't really take all that stuff serious. Especially when you've been graded, maybe you had 60, did not meet the cutoff mark, and then you asked to redo. So most of you just redo because you want to move to the next stage. It's not basically because you actually learned anything from that mistake. So that has to change. Okay. take KodeCamp more seriously, and you will be happy, you'll be excited that you actually did so. Okay. But if you do not, you're going to end up with regrets and all of that. So moving on, we're going to do same thing for this guy. So the first thing we have here is the search bar, like you can see. So for that, we're going to get our rectangle. This way, so that we have space for the location icon. So we have that, and then I have this. I hope they're both aligned. Yes, they are. Okay. So this gets to get tricky because we have to, represent all of these images, videos, all of this. We're going to represent it using rectangles. So what we're going to do first is get one of these. Okay. This is 94. Let me duplicate this. Try to test something. There's still no space in between them. But they need to be bigger then. Let's say we have 100 for the width. So I just need you to know that you need to apply a lot of mathematics, especially when you're working with dimensions and alignments. Because right now you've seen that you need to make the width such that you don't have a lot of space or too much space at the other side of the margin. Seeing that the margin on this end is 25, let's make it 24. It's even. So we may have to make this I don't know, 150. Well, that's too big. 145 too big. 120. I have a feeling this is going to be too big too. Yep, it is. So let's just say 110. Hit this. Maybe give it just one. Right, now this makes more sense. Okay. So for this guy, this is going to serve as, we're going to increase the height a little bit. This is fine to serve for this guy. Okay. So this is for the images. Okay. And so know what we do for to images. So we're going to just run this. Do the same thing here. Same thing here. Okay, so before we continue, I just wanted to, okay, I need to fix that. So a lot of you, let me just point this out since I'm seeing this now on my screen. You can see that we just added the two strokes here, but when you click out, you can barely see anything. Okay, that's because the rectangle is on top of the, or is above the vectors, right? You can see this. Just follow my cursor. We have vector 57, vector 58. So what you want to do is select the both of them and take them on top of the rectangle, which is rectangle 16. That's only when it's going to show. So in case you have this, you come across this kind of problem, it's not really a problem though. So you just have to be more careful and check it out. So yes, I was going to say before I continue, I noticed that most of your interview questions were out of point. Okay. When we're talking about user interviews, right? In the task that was given for the empathy map stage. Okay. And I think yes, empathy stage, rather, the task before the last one. Second to the last task, rather. So when you were asked to, write out questions for your interview. Now, user interviews are, what's it called? They're more direct. Remember we talked about this. They're more direct. So you're doing it in person. If it's not in person, it could be a video call. But as long as you're seeing the person that you're doing the interview with. But quantitative is more of where you get to send out the questions for people to fill a survey and answer questions online. That's quantitative. Qualitative user interview, it's more direct. We talked about this. So, but I saw somebody, one of the questions for the user interview, getting to know the participants. Somebody said, "What is your gender?" I'm like, okay. So this person is sitting in front of you and asking the person, "What is your gender?" Like, what's going on? Do you get? And then I was also seeing personal questions. I mean, we're talking about public transport application, right? That's the product we have at hand. I'm seeing questions like, are you married? How long have you been married for? What do you want to use that information for? Why do you want to know how long the person has been married for? All of those questions are not necessary. Okay, you can ask the person what the person does for a living if the person uses public transport. Marriage is not part of it. It has nothing to do with the product. Okay, and most of these questions will make the person, I don't know, uncomfortable. We said this, so you don't try to ask questions that are too personal to the participants. So please take note of that. Maybe you still have to go over your interview questions to be sure that you did not make any mistakes. Okay, so make sure that your questions are on point and you do not go out of course while conducting your interview. So I just thought to put that out there in case of next time, or for the purpose of those that have not done the task or scored low. So that could actually be the reason. So please always check your questions before putting them out. So we're just going to go back to this. For this one, I'm going to select this. So just select both of them and group them so that I can duplicate it. Okay. So you notice that I put I think it's one. Yes. The spacing between both of them is one. You can see here on the right. Okay. Just like we had here. So for the video, you've seen the learn. It takes, from here, from the top of where this one started, takes up to the second one. So that's what we're going to do too. We're going to drag this down here. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing we did. What's this here? The same thing for this. Right? So what's the next one look like? I think this row is different because this one is longer, has the width is more than the width of the other one. So for this one, I think they're the same thing. They have the same dimension. So we're just going to get this guy. Okay, it's this. 20. Okay, we have that for 2 rows. So what we're going to do is, okay, duplicate this. One. What else do we have? So I'm going to do something here. I'm going to be trying out another. Let me duplicate this. I'm going to be trying out another tool here. Let's see how that goes. So the first thing we want to do is ungroup this one so that these people start on their own. So I'm just going to take out this guy. Same thing for this one. Let's play around. So for these two now, we have this. We have these tools. We have union selection. So let's see if we can make that one. Sorry. Yes. So we just made this one by clicking on the union. We did union selection. So we made this one, just like you saw that we had that here, right? So the width here is actually 2 of this. So that's what we did here. So we can have, sorry. Okay. So we have this, right? And we can just get this guy, so we don't have to do it a second time. I bring it over here. So now we have our search, what's it called? The search page, and I'm just going to bring this one here too. Copy everything. And bring it here. And just move away from what I already had there. So this is what we have. Right, the home page and then the search page. So this is what prototype looks like. Okay, when you're trying to show the interactions, right, on a product. So now you see that this is the home page. How do we go to the search page? So this is what, remember that this is the search icon, or this represents the search icon. So I'm just going to get my pen tool and I put an arrow from here. This is something like this. To this. Just skip it here. Let me increase the weight of that. Make it take it out of here. And out of this one. So I'm going to add this start point. I want the start point to have this, and then the end point to have this. So you can also use this to show the interactions within your product. So if you're clicking on search, if I click on this search icon, what does it take me to? It takes me to this screen. So this is, like we said, inexpensive. Nigerians will say low budget, right? But it shows you if your client actually, if you present this to a client and it is this neat, the person understands the interaction, the flow within the product, the application or website, just like you can see now. Okay. So even if we were to, maybe click on this guy, you know how you click on, let me duplicate this guy, but I think it's something similar. So let me just do this. you know how you click on the search bar on Instagram, right? And then you see this, okay, this screen in the middle, and then you click on a particular post. What does it take you to? It takes you to that post. So let's say that this one now, the test screen, is that particular post like you clicked on. So we can say that we have something like this. Let me just bring this here, and then we can have this guy. Let's say the person clicked on a video, have this linked to this, okay, to show the flow. So just like we did before, change the color so it's more visible. The start points, this, the end points, this, and then we take that out. You think that it's the only reason why you cannot see it on the Figma board, okay, the canvas, is because this, if you can check on the left side of my board or my screen, you can see vector 62. It's within the search page Insta frame. That's why you cannot see it on the canvas of the Figma canvas. So what you want to do is take it out. I drag this out here, okay, so it's more visible now. It's neither in any of those. So you can also do this, because you know that clicking on this is going to bring it to this page, just like clicking on the search icon brought it to the search page. I hope that was understood. So now we have this flow. Okay, so if we're looking at the tags, this could also be a tag flow. If the person was looking to, I don't know, maybe search for a particular post and then see the post, this could be a flow. Okay, so from the home page, you're going to the search, from search, you're seeing the post. Maybe Mentor Maiwa is on Instagram and you want to check out his a post that he made. You could just go and search for, I don't know, anything, or search for his profile. If you actually was looking for his profile, I think yes, to take you to the profile page, right? So, but this is actually seeing a particular photo or a video. This is what it looks like. The thought screen. So we have this now. And I hope that by the end of this class, if you've been asked to create something like this, you can actually do that with ease. And like I said, you can add these annotations like we did here. You can have logo, you can have something like this. Let me say that I get this guy. Change the color. So you can do the same thing. Just can say this is user profile. Okay, you can add this. Okay. All right. So yes, this is what it looks like, right? This is what a low fidelity wireframe looks like. And when you're trying to show the interaction, this is what a low fidelity prototype looks like that we just talked about in today's class. I hope that was understood. So do we have any questions? Do we have any questions? Chukudi Jonna, go ahead.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi, good afternoon.
I don't know. This is our sketch now. And can you like go to the sample? Sorry.
What sample?
Like the sample, the place that will, how am I going to even put it?
The main Instagram page, the screenshots I took.
Yes. Okay. So I thought in our sketch, we are also you have to put this battery icon, Wi-Fi icon. Just a bit.
Who told you that? No, you're not supposed to. That's not part of your Instagram page, is it? That's part of your phone. Okay, it's not part of the Instagram page. You can decide to put it if you want, but it's not compulsory. Do you get? It's not part of the Instagram page. It's a part of your phone. So different people have different Android people that are using Android, they have a different way that their battery percent and the time and location on their phone is being displayed, right? The same thing for iPhone. So this is for an iPhone. You see that it's completely different from Android. So it's not a must, okay?
Okay. Sorry, ma.
All right.
But there are some design. Sorry.
Okay.
There are some design that like there's this community on Facebook, this UI community. I'll actually
Okay.
see their design. I will now see this battery icon, like to show you that this is mobile version or something like that.
Oh, yes. I thought you said adding it to a low fidelity wireframe. If you're talking about a design, yes, of course, there are a lot of mobile UI kits, and this like part of it's part of the element, okay? So yes, you can add it, but like I said, it's not compulsory, but it makes it look more realistic, right? That's the essence, but it's not compulsory. Have I answered your question? Do you have any other question before we call it a day? Okay, no questions. All right, so in the absence of none, we're going to wrap up today's class. Thank you very much for joining in. And like I said, this task that I'm going to drop today is not going to be promotional. It's just so that you can practice what you just learned in today's class. Okay, so see you all on the Discord channel and have a nice day.